Well, I was appointed here in 2008 to serve the contemporary worship community. When I arrived, I had a sense of God calling this church towards something new.
I remember when there were 35 people in Wesley Hall at the Journey, and of those 35, 25 of them were probably related to the band or to Daniel. And from that point, Daniel and I used to kind of meet every Wednesday morning, and we'd talk about what the vision of the Journey was, and we would talk about how it was important for us to crawl, and then walk, and then run.
We really intentionally started it not trying to recruit anybody over from the sanctuary, but instead looking at the roles of the inactive members of MDUMC. The Journey was never intended to be a young people service. It was intended to be as a different kind of worship community for folks of all ages and stages. And so that would mean music that sounded a little bit more like the music that was on the radio, whether Christian or otherwise. A message that was real contemporary or relevant to their lives. And then something they could hold on to as the week went on. A real sense of God's love and God's grace and God's forgiveness, which is provided each and every week at the Lord's table. And so with a lot of prayer and a bit of fear and trepidation, I presented a grand master plan to our senior pastor, and he said, "That's why I brought you here. So go ahead and go for it." And so we did. And in September of 2008, we launched.
Leading worship for me has been so much more than just singing a couple songs on Sunday morning. It's really been taking on a role of learning more about our community, their spiritual lives, and being able to see growth in those areas.
A little later on, we were moving to about 175, 200 by the second year when Dr. Simmons came and said, "Hey, it looks like it's time for you guys to have your own space." And it was.
As we celebrate 60 wonderful years of the church's existence, we also celebrate 10 years of the Journey worship. And that was in an old drugstore that was converted into what is now converted into and expanded into the Journey Worship Center and the additional classrooms and indoor playground and everything like that.
I remember being in college and being told MDUMC was launching this new thing called The Journey, and they had bought the shopping center out. And I was like, what in the world? A church buying a shopping center?
And so we gutted the space and began to design it around being a place for worship and for children, with opportunities for groups like the Agape Choir and others to do performances in there. And we just didn't know how quickly we would even outgrow this new space.
I think my memories of the Journey since I've been here revolve around all the energy that takes place from the moment one walks into the door until the service of worship is over. The way people gather together in the foyer area, the way they enjoy refreshments, the way they talk about what's happened in worship and what they anticipate. Just the high level of energy once they get in there, that's really something special and is in a lot of ways different from a lot of churches. The quality of music and the level of talent over there is exceptional, and there's always good preaching over there, and I think it connects the people in a powerful way.
We've seen massive growth in our children's ministries on the West Campus. I remember it being in all the kids in one classroom to the beautiful space that we have now has been such a growth, and to see us to continue to develop that space over there is really encouraging.
So late in 2015, early 2016, we began to dream about what it would mean to renovate the well and to make room for more people to worship, to serve, to grow in their love of God and their love for God's people. And that's where the Make Room campaign was born.
It's been incredible to watch the Journey grow from such a small community to very much the lifeblood of a lot of what goes on around here at MDUMC. And to have been a part of kind of the journey in its infancy was a tremendous blessing. We got to watch it grow from small into the unstoppable force that it is now, and it's been a real blessing.
I think one of the things that has really contributed to the growth of the Journey has been the leadership of Daniel Irving and Michael Jarboe. And as all of you know, I have worked with both of them very closely over the years. There are a lot of contemporary services, there are a lot of Methodist contemporary services, but we have been so blessed by these two guys, and their leadership has made us what we are today.
It has established its own reputation over the last 10 years of doing unique and powerful things that allow all kinds of people of all ages to be there. And I think that's one of the things that really is unique about the Journey. And I know every Sunday there are people of all ages, young children and even senior adults and everybody in between. And that says a lot about their hospitality, it says a lot about their vision, and it says a lot about the quality of worship.
Even in 4 years since being here, I have watched that community evolve into a community that's multi-generational, that truly seeks after God's word, a group of people that from both like neighborhood folks who live around the area, which I think it probably started off as, to being one where there are folks coming in from Katy and the Heights and Sugar Land and areas around Houston because they want what's going on over on that campus. It's been really cool to see. I've also watched Drew Essen grow. I've watched our media department grow to incredible lengths. It's been really fun to watch the evolution over at the Journey and to play a small role in that.